Hi everybody. Might be able to see some mist coming out from my breath because we live in a caravan. I'm currently in the awning and it's winter. But more about that later. I am quite wrapped up. I've got like a snuggly blanket on as well. So this video I wanted to talk about our weekend that just went by because I'd like to say it wasn't normal, but it is quite normal for this to happen to me. So this is about how I ended up in hospital. So yes, over the weekend I ended up in hospital. For a few weeks I've been struggling with some abdominal pain, tummy pain, and a couple of weeks ago I had a chat with my doctor and we thought it may be down to one of the pain meds that I was taking. So I came off that and I was given a tablet to help try and repair any damage that might have done to my stomach lining. So I was given some omeprazole to take. I'm going to be taking that for a while now, and we were hopeful that those pains would stop, but they didn't. The pains were really intense. It was like someone was like really squeezing my insides, and it was sharp, and nothing I did, no position I got myself in, or whether I was pacing or lying down or sat down, was giving me any kind of comfort. But it was past it normally. It was passing after about 20 minutes, half an hour. But then on Friday, we'd gone to bed. I was not able to sleep straight away, which is quite normal with the fibro. But around about 1:10 in the morning, so this would have been the Saturday morning, early hours, the stomach pain came, and I was just thinking, oh God, it's going to go. It'll be 20 minutes, just breathe through it. You're going to be fine. It's nothing to worry about. And then it didn't stop. It just kept on going. So I didn't want to wake up Andy at first because I didn't want to worry him. I was just hopeful that it would go. So I took maybe some Rennie as well, just to see if maybe that would help settle things down. I took my normal painkillers that I have when I have flares. That didn't take anything away. So after a couple of hours I gave in, and I had to wake him up because I was getting really concerned. And before I get on to what happened next, I just want to give you a bit of a background as to why those concerns were maybe more amplified than they would have been in another situation. And that's because just over a year ago, my little brother had really intense stomach pains, and it was so bad he went to A&E, and he was rushed into theatre. He had emergency surgery and he almost died. He was in intensive care for a while. He lives up in Manchester and we're down in Bournemouth. We were actually away for a Halloween weekend with Cassidy, and we were in York at the time. So I just wanted to leave York and I wanted to get to Manchester, but I knew Spike, my little brother, would want me to just carry on with that little break. There was nothing that I could have done by going to the hospital. It was very limited into who could actually go and see him. So there was his amazing girlfriend Sean, another brother Si, and my mum, and other people were rallying around. So there would have been a lot of people anyway there. So I decided to, when we were coming back from York, we were going to pop in. I needed to see him. I wasn't really able to concentrate and settle, and I needed to. Sometimes when you see somebody who's not very well, it just puts your mind at ease a little bit. And luckily he was seriously poorly, but he pulled through. The hospital Salford Royal was just incredible, and they saved his life. And when I went to see him, I won't ever forget how fragile he looked, and you know, he looked a bit scared. I hope he doesn't mind me talking about this, but he looked a little bit, there was a bit of relief in his face actually when he saw me, and there was a bit of emotion, you know, because he wasn't expecting me to be there, and he obviously thought that maybe I'd just come all the way from Bournemouth to go and see him, but I wouldn't have travelled that far because I don't like him that much, and this just happened to be on the way home. But he had lots of wires and tubes and machines and beeps and all sorts going on, and anyway, he'd had some surgery, and I'm not going to go into the main details of what happened with that surgery, because that is very personal, but it did transpire after he had a follow-up appointment with his consultant later down the line, that the reason he was in so much pain, the reason he had to go through what he went through, was because he had bowel cancer. And Spike is only very little. So yeah, I remember the phone call that he, when he rang me to tell me he had cancer, and I tried to hold it together on the phone. I don't think I was very good at that, and I just fell apart when I came off the phone. You know, he's my little brother, and I just wanted to protect him. I wanted to fix him. I didn't want him to be in pain. I wanted it to go away. I'd have taken it for him if I could. You know, to me, he'll always be my little brother. He's, you know, he's not little. He's 39. He's 40 next year. So, and he's still got these, you know, enormous hamster cheeks. I just want to smush him. And I missed him terribly. I just wanted to stay with him, but there's nothing we could do. So I knew he had Sean with him, and he wouldn't be going through this alone, you know. And he had to go through things like chemo and stuff. And now, fingers crossed, he is in remission, and hopefully that will stay away. You know, he went through a lot in the last year. We all did, and we all wish we could have not have him go through that, but he's still got a long way to go. But he is an absolute hero, you know. I don't want to really big him up too much because he's got a massive head already.
He's milking it,
and he does milk it a little bit. But the way he dealt with it, the way he faced life every day, really gave me a bit of a kick up the bum, in that you know, things are given, or things happen to you, and things are dealt for you in life, and it's how you deal with that going forward. And he was really inspirational, and you know, yeah, anyway, I won't go on any more about that. But so back to the pain I was having early hours of Saturday morning. I was freaking out because I was thinking, what if this is what Spike went through? So the anxiety, the pain, the stress, being so frightened, really made Fibro very angry. And you know, the pain in my tummy was just off the charts. It was honestly like the worst pain I've ever experienced in my life, and I've had some pretty bad injuries, and I've had major surgery. You know, I've had a hysterectomy, so you know that I know what my pain gauge is, and with Fibro it's already amplified. So I don't want to ring 999 because I didn't feel like I felt well. I didn't really want to waste time. What with the virus and everything that's going on at the moment, I was trying everything to avoid going to hospital, to be honest. And Andy couldn't drive me there because he'd had a couple of glasses of wine, so I didn't want to risk him driving. So we rang 111, and someone rang me back, and they didn't even mess about. They just sent an ambulance out for me. They obviously felt like that was warranted. So Andy then waited outside for the paramedics to show. Obviously it's a bit tricky where we live because we are in the middle of a field and a forest and whatnot. So anyway, paramedics came, did a few checks, and it was a case of they can't really, they're very limited into what they can do for, you know, they can't do scans and things when they're paramedics. So it was going to be a trip to A&E, and I knew that the trip to A&E was coming, but I also knew that I'd probably have to go in the ambulance on my own, and Andy would have to stay here.
Andy and Calcifer have to stay here.
Yeah, Andy and Calcifer, the cat. We'll show you them on watch for ambulance. I'll get Andy to pop it in the video. You know, and Andy was like, well, maybe they'll let you go, you know, let me go anyway. And he asked, and, you know, we knew what the answer would be. So I had to go off on my own.
There she goes.
I've been in many ambulances. I've lost count of how many times I've actually been admitted into hospital. So I know what it's like, but this is the first time I ever had to go anywhere on my own. And I started panicking because I was worried about the pain and what was causing it. I knew that if I couldn't calm down, I was going to start struggling finding my words and communicating, because fibro fog would just take over. So I was just trying to concentrate really on just myself and not worrying too much about it. So we got to A&E, and the process is a little bit different to what I've been used to with the ambulance, in that because of COVID they've got certain measures in place that they had to follow, different protocols. Anyway, I ended up in the majors, wires and you know, ECGs and things are being done, and again I knew that this would need to be done. I knew would need blood tests, so I was expecting more pain because of fibro, and with allodynia and hyperalgesia, it just magnifies everything. I needed bloods. I already had a cannula in my arm from the ambulance. I needed bloods taken from the other arm. The pressure of the blood pressure machine, I've actually got bruising on my arm. It was, you know, everything was just painful, uncomfortable. I wanted to cry, and I was on my own, and for quite a while I wasn't able to even get a message to Andy. It was pretty scary. Anyway, I'm still here, and it transpired that you know, the cause of that pain, I've struggled a little bit with IBS and going to like the loo, and it's worse with fibro. It makes it much worse, and I've had to start adjusting my diet, and I used to eat quite healthy anyway, after I lost quite a lot of weight. So but I started figuring out certain triggers like dairy and things that were making things worse. But this added complexity of the painkillers that caused problems with my stomach lining, having IBS, like constipation issues as well. You know, it was all it just all built up, and it, you know, the GP had given me some more medication to try to help me go, to help get rid of those pains. This is even before I went to the ambulance, and I literally started that the night before I went to the hospital. So the doctors at the hospital did scans, and I had x-ray and things, and what was basically happening is there was a slight blockage in my bowel, and when I first heard them talking about that when they were doing a scan, again I was panicking like crazy, because of spike. But so yeah, there was a slight blockage, and the medication that the GP had given me wanted to work, but it couldn't get through. So anyway, I won't go into the details because they gave me stuff and that was sorted. And you know, I had more pain relief. I had to have morphine in the end because the pain was just so bad. But I was allowed home after some treatment. And Andy came to pick me up, and then the weekend was pretty much restful. We crashed a bit on Saturday because we just had no sleep. So it was a bit of a topsy-turvy weekend. So I really just wanted to talk about that experience going to hospital. I just needed to let it out really for myself, but also, you know, there are issues that we have that aren't nice, like, you know, nobody wants to talk about your bowels and constipation and things like that, or you know, is there any bleeding, that kind of thing. Nobody wants to talk about that, but it is a real problem that we have to go through. You know, not just for people with fibromyalgia, but people who have like IBS and ulcerative colitis, you know, Crohn's, all things like this. It isn't a nice topic, but we really should talk about these things more, like we do with mental health and now and things like that. So you know, I wanted to get that out basically and just share that experience. And you know, at the moment I'm still going through a flare, meaning my fibromyalgia symptoms are, you know, amplified, because it's going to take a bit to come down from that and get back to sort myself out. So that was basically that. So my weekend in a nutshell was trip to hospital in an ambulance, and yeah, that was it basically. And that's all I've really got to say. So I've got some plans for some future videos, but if you've got any suggestions or anything you want me to bring up, please just give me a shout, comment, send me a message. I was trying to do bloody aeroplane, came back. And also another thing that I just wanted to bring up just before I go, because with the virus that's going around, lockdowns, tiers, and different places being in different you know, restrictions and that kind of thing, it's really difficult to see your family and your friends and your loved ones, but it's really important that you do try and keep in touch. You know, I haven't seen my mum for a while, and things like that do add to the fibromyalgia, because you can't, you know, it's just added stress and anxiety. You can't be with your loved ones. So I just wanted to say I'm missing my mum loads. All my brothers, sister-in-laws, nephews, nieces, absolutely everybody. Hopefully we can all get together soon. Until then, gentle hugs and peace out to my warriors and spoonies, and big hug to everyone in my family. I love you loads. Okay, peace out, bye.
Hi. I always get scared at the beginning.
Yeah, you look great.
You're gonna say that in boyfriend. You're not gonna say you look like a trash panda. Yo, pack up now and give a brother room. The fuse is lit and I'm about to go boom.
Because I'm also recording a video at the same time as you.
Oh, okay. Can I go now?
Yeah.
Okie dokie. So, what are you doing now?
I'm not doing anything.
You're videoing me, I can tell.
I'm videoing you like it's like a big...
Why are you videoing me when that's already videoing me?
It's like a big golf documentary.
You're crazy! People will think that I'm just... Right, okay, hang on.